Try to make bread again, same recipe. So 333 of wheat, 333 of white, and do like 500 grams of water. Do the autolyse first. Let's get this started. Warm my water up for about 50 seconds to get around 100 degrees. Keep it warm helps. It's still pretty hot outside, not as hot, but still pretty hot, so I don't know how much that's going to affect. It's going to be pretty humid today. This is the autolyse. I'm just combining the water and flour together, so this should go pretty quickly. Alright, came together pretty fast. Gonna get my bowl. Grease my bowl. There we go. Pretty sticky, but it's still the autolyse, so it's not that big of a deal. Grab some of this junk. Gets pretty thick. I don't want to leave a lot on my fingers, just because I could end up getting thrown away. Try to have as much for my dough as possible. So, alright, we're good. Let it sit for 20-30 minutes and we'll get on to our next step. It's not as warm as I want. Just put it, for the rest of the time I'm going to put it in the oven with the light on. Not hot, but just not cold. That makes any sense. Put in 17 grams of salt. Fed the starter about 6 hours ago. It's a little bit dry. I found I've had better luck with that. Let's put this. I'm gonna get 150 grams. Everything's mixed together, everything looks good, everything feels okay. Gonna be about an hour. I'm gonna let it rest, and then we'll move on to our folds. But all of the mixing is done, just a matter of folding it a little bit in time. So 3 folds over the next 3 hours, more or less, as far as time goes, and then start shaping and proof. But that's further down the line. For now, we rest. Putting it in the oven with the light on keeps it just a little bit warmer. I want it to be room temperature. Room temperature seems to just slow everything down. just a little bit more moisture. I think it's 76% hydration this time. Not a big difference, but it is nice and jiggly. That's the first fold done. 2 more to go. Let it rest for. I've been doing like an hour, but I like shortened that a bit. Like 45 minutes. It doesn't seem like a lot, but 45 minutes. I'll come to the next one. There we go. 83 in the center. That's what you want. You want it to be in the mid 80s. It doesn't need to be super hot, but you don't want it to be super cold, you know? So, moving along here, this is the second fold. Getting nice and stretchy. Gets really scratchy there, but that's to be expected. That's why we're doing it. Form it into a ball again to make sure we got everything nice and even. Okay. Got a couple air bubbles there. It feels good. I feel the air bubbles in it, so let it rest for another 45 minutes or so and do our last fold. Okay, this is the last fold. Yeah, it's feeling pretty good. I'm gonna let this. I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit, but not as long as before. I think I'm gonna give it like 15, 20, 25 minutes, and then go on to shaping. I think it's pretty good. I feel a lot of bubbles in it. It's really kind of jiggly, which is fine. Let it sit for about 20 minutes. It's a bit soft. I think just because it's slightly higher hydration, I think we should be okay. It's got a proof now, so it's going to take a couple of hours, and we'll take a look at it before and after. I think we'll be all right. It's not too bad. deflated a little bit, so that makes me nervous. It makes me think that maybe we hit a peak and it kind of deflated a bit, obviously. So let's take a look. Feels puffy, feels good. Okay. Let's get this show on the road. We might be alright. I think we might be alright. It doesn't seem like it's deflating much. It looks a little funky. Like I said, it went down a little bit, which is not something I had hoped it would do. I hoped it would stay around that same size. So set a timer for 20 minutes. We'll see what we got. It's a weird shape. It doesn't seem to have risen as much as I'd like. So maybe it did. It didn't rise like I had hoped. It did rip a little bit. There is decent fermentation. You see the little bubbles and stuff like that. I just cut it on its side. But yeah, I don't think it rose as much as it should have. I think when it was, I think I overproofed it. I think I put, I left it in there for a little over 2 hours. I probably should have did about an hour 45 or so. I think it's okay. I think it still will be edible. It's not like flat as a pancake, but not the best one. But I think it's usable. So it's 8:48 in the morning. Could give this the rest of the day to cool off. It needs the time. It's still cooking, really. It's still baking. It's hollow in the middle, so it sounds hollow in the middle. So. It's okay, but we're done. Just gotta let it cool.